It was a mass murder he swears he never committed. Tommy Zeigler was sentenced to death by a judge who overruled a jury in 1976. Now, a judge could do that back then. Today, that's unconstitutional. But what else was allowed back then, like jury intimidation and withholding evidence, has kept Cate on your side and others digging into this case for decades. It is a frightening thought.
They got a conviction. And here I am stuck.
The rush to judgment that sent Tommy Zeigler to death row may have kept the real killer on the street.
I didn't do it. Look at the evidence that we present.
Private investigator Cate looked at the evidence.
It's ridiculous. This is like ridiculous to me at this point.
Then she uncovered more and put it online for the world to see.
And the prosecution hid so many key elements from the defense that the jury was not able to hear.
The prosecution never allowed jurors to hear testimony that would have created reasonable doubt. Today, we know so much more. Claims of a biased judge, unethical conduct, and jury manipulation. The irregularities in this case are mind-blowing. Christmas Eve 1975, Zeigler's furniture store, Winter Garden, Florida. Tommy Zeigler calls for help. He's been shot. 4 others, including his wife, murdered. Investigators zero in on Tommy, never bothering to look for anyone else. You're 73.
And I feel every day of it.
Tommy has spent 42 years on death row, agonizing over how he got here. A successful businessman with no history of violence, railroaded, say his attorneys, by cops, prosecutors, and a judge who should have recused himself. No way a jury looking at all the facts today would find him guilty.
8 years you've been at this.
8 years.
You think you'll ever stop?
How could I stop? The guy is innocent, and I'm positive.
But so far, Tommy has failed to convince the state to set him free.
All the evidence pointed to Tommy Zeigler.
Even with new evidence and DNA testing that disproves what the prosecution presented at trial, the state still wants Tommy to die.
He will die on death row one way or the other.
Jeff Ashton, now a circuit court judge, fought to keep Zeigler on death row, claiming he killed for insurance money. Another fact that's been refuted, but none of it seems to matter.
They don't want this case back. They know what this case is going to give them. They don't want it back.
Florida has wrongfully convicted and exonerated 27 death row inmates, more than any other state. Many believe Tommy Zeigler should be the 28th.
I can't stop thinking about this guy. If he dies in there, it is going to be just a tragedy to the state of Florida and to the justice system.
Tonight, 343 men remain on death row in Florida. Zeigler has been there longer than all of them but one. He's also the second oldest. A New York law firm has spent millions trying to save his life. But if he dies in prison without clearing his name, Tommy says they should have just gone ahead and killed him on day one.
I mean, I see this story. I know you've worked on this for many, many years. You've raised a lot of these questions before. Does he have any avenue left at this point?
He has lost many appeals, but he still has the attorneys fighting on his behalf. He has supporters like Cate. They continue to find new evidence that kind of disrupts the old formula that we've heard. He's hoping touch DNA will be allowed in his case at some point. Tommy also hopes Cate on your side can make a difference by sharing this over and over again and encouraging people to go ahead and write letters to the governor and the attorney general on his behalf. And just a reminder, a few years ago, we produced a 30-minute documentary that goes into much more detail about what happened. We called it Death on Hold, and we've put a link to that on our website, WFLA.com, so check that out.